Good morning, Flute World! I'm so excited to be spending this morning with each of you. We have a very exciting class this morning. I'm Mark Wallace. I'm president of the J.L. Smith Group and Flute World, and this morning we are joined by Master Sergeant Megan Ensor from the United States Air Force Band, author of the Flute and Piccolo Excerpts for Wind Band book, which you can see conveniently behind her there. This morning, Megan is going to be covering the Vivaldi Piccolo Concerto in C and the Sousa Stars and Stripes Forever Piccolo solo. Because next month's our month as piccolo players. We want to make sure everyone's ready to stand up and take that stage, whether it's a community band, whether it's a flute choir group, whether it's a New York Philharmonic, or whether it's the bedroom down the hall. Every stage is important to us at Flute World. So with that, Megan, good morning. How are you?
I am great. I am so excited to be here, guys, and to hear that this is like the biggest class you've ever had. I'm honored. Absolutely honored.
I won't lie. Like, we've been behind the scenes. All of our emails this month have been Piccolo focused. We've sold out of your book twice. So apologies to everyone out there that might have a current back order. But we've got more coming, so keep it coming. But Megan, congratulations, my friend. You're a big deal.
Thank you. Thank you. I didn't expect to be a big deal, but the universe is funny like that.
All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my camera off. I'll be manning the chat room. So as you all have questions throughout the course, feel free to put them into the chat. Megan, I'm going to turn the stage over to you, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. This is so exciting for me to have this opportunity to spend this hour or however long we're going to be here together with you guys. So let's dive right in. Does anybody have any questions just right off the bat before we begin? Otherwise, I can start with, basically how I warm up on the piccolo. That sound like a good question? All right. So basically, what I am doing when I get to work in the morning, and you have to understand, I have been doing this for a while, but I also have two kids. I have to get them off to daycare and on the bus and all the things. So I generally don't have a ton of time when I get to work to warm up. So I go right to the heart of the matter. I go right to my long tones, but I don't have time to do, the chromatic things going down. So I just tend to do like a kind of like a hoodoo loo exercise. I just put the piccolo to my face. And when I'm doing it, I'm making sure that it's higher up on my lower lip. Because you have to remember on the piccolo, everything is smaller. And I don't want to use the word different. It's just smaller. Everything has to be more refined. So if you think piccolo it is a different instrument, but in terms of the actual physical makeup, it is smaller. So everything has to be more focused. It has to be a little bit higher, a little bit more angular. You have to be more precise with everything. You're going to hear that word a lot today. It has to be more precise. The muscles have to be more precise. The airflow has to be more precise because it's a finicky little instrument. I like to equate it to, since I have a 7-year-old son, him playing with Matchbox cars versus him playing with micro machines. They're both the same thing. They both do the same job, but how you play and interact with them is a little differently. So I put the piccolo a little bit higher on my face and I'm just blowing air into it. I'm making sounds. I'm doing an open C. If there's a different note that you like, go for it. But I'm just doing an open, and then from there, I start to work on the middle range. That seems to be the wheelhouse of the piccolo, is like anything from C in the staff to C above the staff is like where the piccolo really shines. And so I typically go C, G. You notice I'm not trying to refine my sound. I'm making noise on the piccolo. So, and then when I feel good on that note, then I'll just go up to C. I'm not using tongue. I'm doing lip attacks. I'm just starting air and just getting it across the piccolo. I'm trying to, get my face familiar with the instrument again. And then once I'm happy with those, I go back down to the C, and then I start doing to do 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 to I start warming up the tongue, all while kind of refining my embouchure, centering the air, thinking of the word pour. I use to think. I'm a very visual learner. So for me, I visualize a bird beak. I visualize a funnel, waterfall that it comes to a point. And what I'm aiming for just on flute is I'm aiming for that nice side on the other side of the embouchure hole. So I'm just trying to make sure that I'm getting maximum fast, warm air to that other side of the embouchure hole. I want to feel the sound surrounding me around my face. That's how I know I'm getting good resonance. And on certain notes, especially with the piccolo, I want to make sure that I can feel the resonance going down the body. That's how I know I'm getting to the center of the note. I'm getting to the core actual sound. So it's not about volume at this point. So if you're warming up on piccolo, please feel free to try it. Again, this is my warm up. My warm up may not be for everybody. And then as I start getting into more staccato tonguing, I'm starting to refine my embouchure more. I'm starting to, think more of a kiss or bringing everything forward a little more, because the more precise the tongue gets, the more refined the lips have to get. Just that may blow some of your minds. It did for me when I was really figuring out the differences between flute and piccolo. Is the more precise things get, the more precise your face has to be for it. And then from there, I'll do some harmonics. I'll go, D is the lowest harmonic on the piccolo. I'm trying to get A. Right now, it's not happening. I like to play the harmonic and then go straight to the note. Because if I'm in the center of the harmonic, when I open up to the actual fingering, the sound should just explode. And I'm not doing anything different. I'm just blowing air. I'm changing the fingering. That's all I'm doing. That's how you know you're really honing in. And then when I'm really centered in, I should be able to go harmonic, note, harmonic, note. Be able to do those two things seamlessly. If you can really hone in on that part right there, then everything, you basically covered the low, the middle, the high range of the piccolo. And if it feels good, if you want to play your scales, if you want to keep going on, for me, I'm diving into what I need to prepare for rehearsal that day. So that's what I do. If it feels good and my tonguing feels good, then I go in from there. Does anybody have any questions while we're before we move into actually playing some stuff?
And be brave. I know sometimes when you're in a group with 70 or 80 other folks, you can be shy. Megan, what's so fun is I'm watching the various muted videos while you're talking, and folks that are trying your exercise. So thank you so much. We do have a hand raise from Luis Anthony. So Luis, take yourself off mute. What's on your mind?
Hi, Luis.
Hey. Hi. Thanks so much for this. I'm playing both these pieces, so they're great. It's great for me. If you're playing the harmonic and then you open it up to the real fingering and the two notes don't match in pitch, which is the correct pitch?
Obviously, you want to the correct pitch would be the open pitch.
The open pitch. Okay.
Yes. So if you're brave enough, I'm not brave enough in the morning because I either haven't had enough coffee or whatever else. I never put my tuner out when I'm warming up. Full disclosure here. But I'm also I'm familiar enough with my instrument and whatnot. I have relative pitch, so I can tell that if it's close. So a lot of times the harmonics are going to be flatter than the actual open note. Especially if you go to flute and you're doing like the C harmonics. If you go to high E and then you go to the open E, there's like a 25-cent difference.
Okay.
A big difference. But the point is being able to actually hit the range with your air and your lips, which is really how both of these instruments work. They work off of harmonics. So if you're able to just go harmonic note, it's going to sound different, but that's the point. Okay. What you're going for is to get the open note to just ring and you're not doing anything different because you've lined up the air and your embouchure correctly. So working a lot smarter and not harder.
Okay, thanks.
Something that came up in a class last week, which is so nice, the consistency among top players, and this harmonic topic keeps coming up, is Stephen Clark referred to it as push-ups for the embouchure. So the harmonic adds resistance, and so essentially you're doing resistance training. It'd be like running with a weighted backpack on.
Yes, exactly. If you can nail a harmonic, I mean, if you can make like the body resonate when you're playing a harmonic, you got it. You're on your way.
All right, we've got Cheryl Goodnight has her hand up. Cheryl from Texas, what's on your mind?
Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, Megan. I remembered meeting you a year ago in Dallas with Kara Daly.
Gosh, yes.
Yes, and tell Kara I said hello.
I will. She has a baby, so she has a beautiful 7-month-old girl now. Yeah.
Jillian Grace. Yeah. And I really love your class. You're so enthusiastic and everything in it. How much time do you spend on that warm up before you get on what you need to work on for rehearsal that day?
It really depends. Depends on how much playing I've done that week. Our schedule varies sometimes. So if I haven't, like, for example, this week, is our first concert in a couple weeks. So, and the week in between, I'm usually doing like ceremonial work. I'm doing different kinds of playing. So I don't have the piccolo to my face as much. So when I haven't been playing a long time, I'll spend 15, sometimes 20 minutes on really just, finding my sound again, finding where, just reacquainting myself. Sure. I have a concert this evening. And I was warming up a little bit before I did this class. And I've been playing for 3 days and my face is tired. It took me a good 20 minutes to finally be like, okay. But then as soon as I did the warm up with you guys and I started doing the harmonics, they pop right in. It was 5 minutes. So it's, it's one of those things of like, just like with your body, when you do a workout, you're going to be tired. When I was a CrossFit coach, I would always tell everybody the second day after is always the worst. So for me, I've had rehearsal Thursday, Friday. Today is my second day after my first rehearsal. So don't be surprised if 2 days after you begin a regimen in the morning, it takes you a lot longer because your body has to recover. And that includes these little muscles in your face. So for me, it makes perfect sense that it took me 20 minutes to, I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to suck on Vivaldi and, but but as soon as I locked into the harmonics, my face went, oh, okay, there it is. And then that was it. So patience is key. And also knowing how long you've been doing a particular regimen, what day you're on, will sometimes dictate how long or how short your warm-up take.
Okay, thanks.
What I appreciate so much about that, Megan, that we've been asked in some other classes are folks that say, I feel like the more consistent I practice, the worse I sound. And it's not necessarily that you're sounding worse. One, your ear's getting better. And two, listen to your body. You can't do resistance training every day. So I appreciate that.
Yes.
A couple fun questions that have come through. Megan, your piccolo sounds amazing. What's the maker and brand?
Oh, I am playing kind of a Frankenstein piccolo here, a Franken piccolo. I play on a Homig cocos wood body with the solid silver, the really nice Homig. And I'm playing on a Manca Bacodi wood head joint, modified wave head joint, and I love it. I'd never heard of Bacodi wood before I found this head joint, and I love it.
It sounds great. Another question, we're kind of going through these chats and then we'll head over to Vivaldi. But do you ever warm up on the flute, then jump to piccolo, or do you warm up specifically on the one that you're playing?
If in the rare instance, generally I play flute and piccolo every day. I play a lot more piccolo, and I get asked this question a lot. Basically, sometimes the piccolo isn't working. And the instruments complement each other in a lot of ways. I have to warm up on flute some days because you have to remember the piccolo is an octave higher than flute. So you're basically jumping into the mid-high range of the flute as soon as you start warming up on piccolo. So if your flute face isn't there, I have to go and warm up those lower octaves first for my face to go, okay, I'm ready to play C above the staff on flute. And I have to do harmonics on flute. And I will spend 20 minutes on that. And then usually I'm able to just jump right to piccolo because I've warmed up that range on the flute. And I'm able to, go to piccolo. And then there's other days where I've been practicing a lot and piccolo just happens. But then I can't play my low range on the flute. So so there's always a lot of cursing during those practice sessions when I have to switch.
I love it. One more question, and then I promise. I love the amount of questions that we're getting, so we might have to do a follow-up FAQ document that comes out. So keep them coming, you guys. Don't let the time limit scare you from asking them. But I love this question because it impacts me. How do you deal with your piccolo getting waterlogged, especially right before you have to stand up for Stars and Stripes, and inevitably your A flat and your E flat key has water in it? Megan, help!
The Valentino piccolo wand it's a wand and it is magical. It does have superpowers. I don't know what is in this felt, but I'm telling you, you will see me all the time. You can probably go onto YouTube and find an Air Force Band recording somewhere. I think it's actually, if you look up us playing Festive Overture, we were at the New World Center in Miami like 3 or 4 years ago. There's like, I put it down and I have a moment coming up and you'll see me reach for my stand and I'm just like shoving this thing into my piccolo and I'm twisting it real quick and then I'm shoving it back on the stand and putting my piccolo to my face. That's what I do. I take the moments and I swab out my piccolo as fast as I can. I don't have time to pull it apart and, do the string. No, I buy the wand, just buy the wand. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. And if you can just do one quick swap in and out, it'll save you so much headache.
Megan doesn't know this, or maybe she does and she's just being stealthy, but a lot of people don't know this. The Valentino brand is owned by Flute World. We make those in our shop in Charleston, oh my God, in Charlotte. I don't know what's in Charleston, but I put a link for it into the chat. Don't buy it yet, y'all. At the end of this class, for the folks that stay all the way to the end, you're going to get a special code that I think you're going to like a lot. So, all right, Megan, let's get over to these two pieces, the Vivaldi in C and then the Stars and Stripes. So you pick your favorite where you want to go, but teach us the ins and outs.
Well, I mean, my wheelhouse is band, and I feel like we should just dive right into Stars and Stripes. There's no other way to do it. I mean,
Amen.
It's I'm sorry guys. I mean, but this is a piccolo class. I am a band person. And honestly, this may be a very tough truth for some of you to hear, but Stars and Stripes is on every solo list or every audition list, not because it's a major band excerpt, because we want to see if you can play it or not. That's all it is. It is a solo. You can play it or you can't. We're not looking for, how musical you are with it or whatnot. And we usually program it. Here's a little tidbit about the business. We usually program it at the end of an audition round, because in the real band world, you have to play flute for a while. And for me, playing piccolo, I'm playing piccolo all gig. But my two colleagues, Kara and Stacy Ascione, are playing flute for 2 hours. And then at the very end of the concert, boom, in the middle of Armed Services medley, they have 8 measures rest. They have to pick up the piccolo and start going. So we want to see if you're able to be flexible in that way. So when it comes to that, that's why Stars and Stripes is just an excerpt to see, can you do it? Can you put the piccolo to your face and bang out this excerpt? And if you do, you advance. That's all it is. So, that may sound terrifying to some of you, but for those of you who are in the audition circuit right now, hopefully it's a little bit of load off your mind of like, you don't have to be so musical, or you don't have to, like, oh, are my trills? No, just can you play it in time, in tune, with a decent sound? Great. So that's the whole, reasoning behind why Stars and Stripes is on the list. Getting into the list, or getting into the excerpt, does somebody want to play it? And then we'll actually dig into the excerpt. Do we have a brave soul? Come on.
And we had a couple people sign up for it. So I see Jennifer.
And
Who's that?
computer. I don't bite, and we're on a computer, so I definitely don't bite.
So raise your hand if you were one of the folks that submitted to perform. And this happens sometimes. We're all a little braver when we register for the course, and you show up and you go, "There's 80 of my peers," so we totally understand. It happens to all of us, myself included. I purposely don't have my piccolo out behind me. Kellen, Kellen, I see you. Take yourself off mute.
Hi.
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 So, Kellen, real quick, let's do a quickie sound check because Megan and I learned that Zoom is allergic to the piccolo. So let's let's see if your mic is ready to go, and then we'll learn a little bit about you and get you playing for Megan.
Yeah. Let me turn on the original sound. Okay.
You're solid. Good, good, good. Cool. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Kellen, and I'll hand it back to you, Megan.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Kellen. I'll be a senior in music education and flute performance double major at Ithaca College, this fall. I'm actually on campus, because I figured I should not do this in an apartment with other people. But yeah.
Awesome. I was a music education major myself. I wanted to be the next great middle school band director of America, until my flute teacher, Dr. Catherine Thomas Humble at Youngstown, was like, there's these band auditions. You might want to take them. And next thing I know, I'm joining the Air Force. So you never know what's going to happen. So congratulations on getting close to completing both of those degrees. So because no matter what, yeah, you can always get the performance degree, but if you do love teaching in any way, I'm telling you, people, ed it's not just a fallback degree. It's a great degree to have for so many reasons. It improves your playing, it improves your own practice routines, makes you a better player, and you can always play with an ed degree. Yeah. Okay, so speaking of, can you play Stars and Stripes or not? Let's just go ahead and play the excerpt and see how you do.
Yeah.
No fear, no fear. Everybody do this or something, and we great job. So when I am teaching my students and I'm talking excerpts, and I write this in the introduction to my book, there are everything in music, period, especially flute playing, revolves around three things. And those who have studied with me are probably going to be able to write it into the chat. It is the 3 T's. Have you heard of this?
I don't think I have.
Okay, well, prepare to be educated. The 3 T's are tune, time, tone. Everything, and in my book, the very first thing I put is what the committee is going to be looking for in terms of the T's. So here's the reasoning behind it. This is from Bill Vermeulen, who's principal horn of the Houston Symphony, teaches at Rice. And I don't know who he got it from, but it's genius, and it makes so much sense. If you can't play in tune, you're going to have a lot of trouble playing with other people. If you can't play in time, you're really going to have a lot of trouble playing with other people. And if you can't play with the right tone, you're never going to get called. So whenever you approach anything with music, this goes from Mozart to Stravinsky, you can take one of these T's or all of these T's and you can apply it to this. So when we're playing Stars and Stripes, there's always one of the T's is a primary T. So which one do you think the primary T is? It should be obvious.
Time.
Exactly. Your time is excellent. So when you're listening for time, playing excerpts, obviously you need to record yourself. And I would recommend, this is what I did. It saves so much time. You spend half as much time playing and twice as much time learning. So you can get a lot more done in less time. This is how I prepare all of my music, how I prepared for all my auditions, and I probably played for 2 hours a day. Because when I also prepared for this audition, I had a full-time job playing. So when you're listening for time, you record yourself, and you should be able to start the metronome at the tempo you want to your recording. And you'll hear right away if you're right on or where you're rushing or slowing down. And that's one of those things of, when you record yourself, just like here, you're on Zoom, you played for yourself, you're going to go back and listen to this recording and go, oh my God, because it's you, like you never forget it. It sticks with you. It's that vulnerability that recording just exposes. And when you're listening for tune, if you do it again, if you play that same recording back to an E flat drone, or actually an A flat drone, because that's an A flat. If you just put on A flat on your tuner and you've already tuned before you record this excerpt, you'll hear where you're out of tune. You'll hear your problem notes consistently just not ring right with the drum. And then in terms of tone, that'll obviously come through very, very quickly. I say tone because I don't say sound, because everybody expects a good sound. It is the type of sound, the type of tone. You play Mozart with a different tone than you play Stravinsky. On piccolo, you play Vivaldi with a different tone than you do with Sousa. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Because they're two different styles of music, so they require, we're expecting that you're going to have a good tone, but is it the right Sousa tone? Your tone is a little bit more legato in terms of sound. I like the brightness. I like the sparkle that you've brought to it, but I heard a lot of notes connected. And in march style, this is another thing that flute players have so much problem with, which I'm putting a plug in. I'm writing book 2, and there's going to be a lot of marches in it, because flutists need to know how to play a march style. And there are some other flutists who have the honest to God opinion of, well, I'll learn march style when I need to learn it. No, you are an education major. Marches are a huge part of educating musicians on music. So I want to hear a little bit more bounce. So make the notes a little bit shorter, a little more detached. Think of like the bouncing ball on the notes, but it's not bouncing real high. It's da, dee, da, 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 da. What I heard was, so think more of, think of stopping the note with the tongue. So I like to say tip of the tongue at the top of the teeth is where your tongue placement should be. So if your tip of the tongue at the top of the teeth, you can stop the air with your tongue, and your tongue is already exactly where it needs to be to start the note again. So that way you get the duh, and all you're doing is moving the tongue up, moving the tongue down. Okay, so go ahead and just try, forget the trills. Just play the notes up to the first E flat trill. So that first 4 measures, da, 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 and try and go for that bounciness. Yes. And then as you record yourself and listen, or as you go back and listen to this, you'll hear your tendency to want to keep the notes long again. Every note needs to be ta, 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 like a ballerina's toes, just going and doing that. So the next thing that I would focus on is you don't need to connect all of the phrases the way you're doing. I do not need to take a breath after the first E flat trill, but I need to stop the trill to start the next phrase. So I'm basically just shutting my lips. So that's all I'm doing. And then opening up again. So go ahead and try that. Start again. ta, 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 ta. Yes, yes, I like that a lot. You have to delineate between, they're both E flat trills, but they're two separate notes. You have to delineate those notes. Finally, what I recommend with everybody with doing Stars and Stripes, you have the notes down very well. So for those who don't have the notes down, forget the trills. Take it slower. Take it at like 80 or 100. And you can, I would also recommend you do this for yourself so that you can really work on the style of the notes. You can also hear the counter melody that it is. We get so caught up in just the technical aspect of it. It's actually a beautiful counter melody. So I would recommend doing that. And then as you add back in the trills, focus on how many wiggles are on each trill. It's not about making every single trill a machine gun. It's about wiggles. I have had too many experiences in my career where the conductors get excited at the end because Stars and Stripes is always the last piece on the program. So there's also that. And so they start to speed up, and or they'll play the first, the first 16 measures. You've probably done it as a conductor or whatnot, where you da 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 dee da, and then they turn around, the whole band stands up, and then you're playing it at 144, and you don't have time to do these measured trills. Think of them more of like triplet, ba-da-da-bump. So E, F, E, A flat. You always start the trill on the note. Always start the trill on the note. Do not come down into the note. Okay? It's written on a note. There's a note with a trill mark above it. I'm saying this to everybody. So start it on the note. So E flat, C, B nap, you do it there. So that's what I'm doing. 2 wiggles max on every trill, because that's all the time you're going to have to do. It's about the ornamentation. It's not about the actual technical aspect of it. So you got to focus on the melody. You're just ornamenting notes. That's all you're doing. So go ahead and try like the first, the first half of it with everything I just told you, but really focus on trying to, single out those trills and make them more just triplet eighths. Yes. And here's where everybody goes nuts over it. Do these trills, da 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 da, triplet eighth, da 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 da, triplet eighth. So you don't need to do like two trills. Everyone like gets their fingers frozen up. I was guilty of this when I was learning too. Everybody gets their fingers frozen up because they go da 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 da. Oh my god, da 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 da. Oh my god. It doesn't need to do that. Go ahead and try that. Yes, that's it. That, ladies and gentlemen, there's how you solve that middle 4 measures of Stars and Stripes. You're welcome. My job here is done.
Hey, Megan.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. First of all, this is going to have to be a 10-hour course because the chat is exploding.
Oh
we're going to have to hire 9 more people just to manage the chat, which is a beautiful problem. Clearly, the flute community is engaged in the piccolo. A couple things that have come up, and Kellen, by the way, great job. You'll see it when you listen to the recording back, but you're getting so much love in the chat. Thank you for being our brave volunteer. Megan, the number 1 trending question is, let's talk about high A flat. So give us your tips there. And there's a lot of questions around, is this single-tongued, double-tongued? And then one last question that's trending is about the trill. So specifically, let me move up. Trilling into the next phrase. Should it da 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 da? Should I be going phrase to phrase, or should I be stopping and starting again? So handle those three questions. What are your thoughts?
You need to be going phrase to phrase while keeping the lightness. So I do a lot of catch breaths. I'm also playing, but my catch breaths are more habit based off of having to stagger breathe with my section. If I'm doing it by myself, I'm thinking big quality breaths going every 8 measures. And then what was there was something else.
Oh, there was a question about help us all with high A flat, and here's the thing that I'm noticing. If I could use a word, tell us that we shouldn't be ashamed that we need to use the right hand, second and third finger. I think we all need to hear that it's okay, and that it is the piccolo fingering.
It is. It's I was actually, because I have the G sharp facilitator on this piccolo, so that it's supposed to eliminate the 2-3, but acoustically it works. It makes the note pop. So just get into the habit of, make sure you have your pinky down too. Some people are forgetting that they just, so it's G flat with the 2-3 pinky. You need everything with how I approach piccolo and flute playing is hot, fast air. The airspeed never changes, no matter what range or instrument you're playing. This may blow some people's minds because there are different schools of thought on this. I am of the school of thought of I want to work a lot more efficiently. And so it all comes down to the airspeed never changes. It's what you do here with these little muscles in your lip. It's what you do with your face that makes all the difference in the world. So for the high A flat, make sure that the air is firing. The air has to be there. The air has to be loaded, cocked, ready, and loaded behind the tongue, so that when the tongue comes down, the dam breaks, and it is just a laser going right to the far edge of the embouchure holes. It has to be there with that. Otherwise, you're going to miss it. I mean, there's no, some things on piccolo, because it's so precise, are very black and white, unfortunately. And it's nothing, I say this all the time to my students, it's nothing to give yourself a complex about. We are so big on giving ourselves complexes as flute players. Can everyone agree on that? We are. So don't give yourself a complex about it. It is what it is. You just have to, if you don't do it, how are you self-talking to yourself about it? Is the air there? Is everything, you have to be prepared, just like, is everything at the starting line ready to go? If it's not, then the note's not going to come out.
So I just want to, for everybody, it's almost like, let's write it down. Stop thinking of it as an alternate fingering or a crutch. It's the fingering. High A flat on the piccolo has the right hand down. And Megan, maybe this goes into it, but we've got folks saying, I lose my confidence because of that high B flat leading into the solo before. Folks are saying, I crack every one of them and then I've lost my confidence. So help us with that note. High B flat staccato. Any tips?
The very, very similar to the A flat, but you have to, I'm thinking a lot of lower lip, so that the air, instead of going this way, it's really going directly across. It's going directly across the embouchure hole. Again, fast air, fast, hot air with, tip of the tongue, top of the teeth. I mean, everything has to be cocked and loaded, ready to go. So when it's sort of like a paintball just coming out of the gun, just air. Again, like, it's basics. We tend to get all in our heads about, well, if no, make sure the piccolo is placed there. Sometimes, and try not to use this as a crutch, but as a person who has experienced this, sometimes it is the equipment. So Flute World plug, you might want to go to Flute World and, search out new head joints or maybe a new, but use that as a last resort. Try and figure it out yourself. sometimes you may have just outgrown the instrument. I mean, I play on this beautiful piccolo, and I actually outgrew the head joint. I was putting, so I had to go, but try and figure it out yourself. Make sure that it's not you, and it actually is the equipment. So yes, high fast air. The piccolo is higher. I'm flattening out my airstream. So for me, I'm actually, in some ways, I'm bringing my lower jaw even with my teeth, so that I can, keeping the space between my teeth, but yeah, flattening out the airstream.
Cool. So a couple takeaways, because I'm realizing we have 12 minutes left, which is bananas. Time flies when you're having fun. A couple takeaways that I wrote down while we were talking about that were the 3 T's: time, tone, tune. So thank you for that. And then also you brought elegance into a march with the elegant triplet trills. So thank you for the permission to do that. And high A flat. It's not an alternate fingering. So let's maybe transition over to the Vivaldi. Totally different style. Beautiful piccolo playing. So I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, Vivaldi. The 3 T's are never more prevalent than in Vivaldi. Can we agree on that? I mean, it's running 16th notes, and then you get into the second movement, and I mean, there's an 8. You're counting 8th notes, and then it's all tone and tuning, because E natural up to the B natural. A lot of piccolo players, it tends to go flat. Me included. I'm always having to lip up my high B. So that's really where, I mean, running 16th notes, making they're open and evenly spaced, and seeing the white space between all the notes. It's and you have to have a warm, beautiful sound while doing it. Sure, yeah, no problem at all. There's a reason this piece is called on every audition.
And we do have Ruth Levitsky is primed and ready to be your participant for this one.
Hi, Ruth.
Hello. Do you want me to play the whole thing or just a bit of it?
What are you playing, the first movement or the
second movement?
Second movement, perfect. Yeah, you can just go ahead and play. Let's see. Go ahead and play the first couple phrases before you get. So yeah, the first like 16 measures.
Okay.
Awesome. Let's just stop there. Great job. You have such a warm sound. I love it. Very nice. This is like the epitome of like piccolo woodiness. Like it is a wooden instrument, and we get to show it off. And I really like how you're really digging into that sound, and really letting the wood do the work for you in terms of color. So personally, I like to take this movement a couple clicks faster. Otherwise, it becomes like just a dirge. It's just, especially for the orchestra. I've played it in front of an orchestra, and those poor string players are just like, wait. So yeah, so I like dee da dee da dee, and I'm clicking 8th notes, everybody. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It also really helps with air. And you can really get a lot more direction out of it. And oh my God, does it save the face. You're getting like an extra minute of time back on your face when you take it a couple clicks faster. So go ahead and try it again, and think of it more of like a court dance in a way.
Okay. See, I have my
Good, great job. What I want to hear, so what I would recommend is, are you, everybody wants to push with the piccolo. They want to jam it into their face. I did this at a flute masterclass recently, and the flute player gave me such a look when I came up to her, and I was like, I need to be able to come up to you while you're playing and push the instrument off your face. And so she started playing, and I literally, she was in the middle of a beautiful phrase, and I just went, wonk. And she was just like, but you can have so much more flexibility if you're not pushing the piccolo or the flute into your face. So if you look at me from the side, I mean, I obviously play here, but if you look at me from the side, my piccolo is forward. I want to be able to see my fingers whenever I'm playing. That's how I know. If I can't see my fingers in my peripheral vision, too much pressure.
Wow.
And put the piccolo a little bit higher on your face. So go ahead and just play some notes a little bit higher, bring it forward. Yeah, I can hear it opening up now. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
It feels different. So
Yeah.
whenever you do that, it takes the pressure off, and then it allows you to really begin to hone in on those tiny little lip muscles, to bring everything forward. That's what I would recommend first of all. And then from there, it's basically just refining, bringing everything, getting in. Here's a great thing to practice to focus in on your sound. Be able to go, I'm hitting the harmonic B when I'm playing the E. And then you can hear the B ring. I'm hitting the harmonic again. It's a great exercise. It may kill your face, but if you really want to make the instrument sing, this is where the harmonics, the rubber meets the road. Because you're actually, putting it's not just an exercise anymore. It's actually practical use, because you're making sure that your airstream is exactly where it needs to be. So those notes just pop. And, it becomes a no-fail thing. It becomes a very good muscle memory thing. So just try the first, the first couple beats. Just try to go B, or say E, G, harmonic, and see how that works. I'm putting you on the spot.
Wait a sec.
You're going to finger an E natural. You're going to go right back to an E natural and overflow. Yes. There you go. There you go.
But I'm playing the real G, right?
Yeah. So you're going to finger E, G, E, but when you hit the second E, you're going to overblow it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fun note.
Yeah. So, but now go back and play it regular. I guarantee you'll hear and feel something different. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the fastest way to hone in on your sound is to if the note is a harmonic, then yeah, absolutely do it. You can really dig into the sound once you know that the harmonics are there, because you have to open up and do, it's that magic formula. It just makes it happen. So yeah. And then what I would recommend is whenever you're there, here's a really fun thing to practice, which is so useful in Vivaldi. It's a very refined thing. It's kind of the thing that will set one piccolo player apart from the other ones. But think of doing poo attacks, like, again, having that hot, fast air there. I like to start with a poo attack when I'm doing small attacks on the piccolo. Again, because it has to be so precise. I wouldn't necessarily attack it this way if it was a flute concerto, because it's a mezzo forte. I can do a nice, easy tongue. But on piccolo, if I do a heavy tongue, or if I do any kind of a tongue, it might just come out as thuddy. Again, because it's a little instrument, it's going to react to whatever you do to it. You can hear it. You can hear the attack, but it immediately goes away because of the air. I'm blowing through it. And since I've done the harmonic, I know how to blow through the B, not to it. I know how to blow through the B to the E because it's all there in that range. So go ahead and try the first 3 beats again. Just go dee da da, dee da da da. Yeah. I mean, you sound 100% better already. Just those couple little tweaks. It's such a moody little instrument, isn't it? It's such a diva, you know? Just
Do you switch a lot from outdoor piccolos to indoor piccolos?
Again, that is an equipment thing for me.
Okay.
I play on a composite piccolo for my marching my marching stuff. I play on the pearls, the pearl composites. They're beautiful. Not a super great low range, but I'm always playing high range when I'm out there. But
Okay.
they play like a wooden instrument. So again, a lot of the metal ones are good because they're loud, but they may not always be they may not always be the best in terms of becoming or sounding in terms of playability. That's what I mean to say. So don't be afraid to, but there are great metal piccolos out there. So like Gemeinhardt makes some good ones. Haynes used to make some really good ones that we even have back in the band. But for playing an outside wood or the composite, it doesn't get as cold as fast. So it really helps with pitch. And so that's what I would recommend. But the approach to all the instruments, the way you play them is exactly the same. So whether I'm playing on composite, metal, or wood, I'm playing piccolo.
Thank you so much, Ruth, for beautiful playing. And, I got to tell you, I think all of us, I saw a lot of heads nodding on that B. We were all leaning in for what's the secret for that B? What's the secret for tuning the E? Megan, seriously, we need to talk about having maybe a series of some classes because there's definite piccolo curiosity out there.
I guess I was liked.
No, I love it. I love it. What we're going to do, just to be respectful of everyone's time, I'm going to collect all of the questions that were put into the chat that we didn't get to address. I'm going to send them all to Megan, and we'll send you a follow-up email, just like we sent you all the link to the class with all of those questions answered. Megan, the next one that's trending, so just be ready to talk about it in our follow-up is, are there more not alternate fingerings that we should know, like the A flat? So we'll tease it. Megan will answer that for you coming soon.
Maybe there are.
I love it. First, on behalf of all of us, Megan, the whole Flute World community and from the organization Flute World, thank you so much for talking about the things that we've all been curious about. We will come back and get more from you. This isn't the last time you all are going to hear from Megan. I hear you loud and clear. We're bringing her back. And then just to say thank you for everyone for hopping out of bed and playing piccolo early in the morning. We have created a promo that's just for Megan's attendees, so you all stay to the end. So on the Flute World website, if you use code PICCOLO 2023, it's good until the strike of midnight on June 30th. So you have 1 week essentially that you can use it. We're giving you the entire print music categories across Flute World, 20% off. And because she said she loved it, I just added a minute ago, all of those Valentino Piccolo ones, also 20% off. So Piccolo 2023, there's no minimum purchase required. There's no shipping charges. We're waiving that too. So go stock up. We're not advertising this promotion. It's just for this group. So thank all of you for your love for the instrument, for the love of the community, and thank you, Megan, for what you do for all of us. I'll see you on the stage playing the Stars and Stripes.
Absolutely. Thank you.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you for putting Chimes of Liberty in your book.
Oh, you're welcome.
Bye, everybody.
Tell me he didn't steal that from Sousa.
No.